Hey, back again with another edition of Henry Talk, and I'm sure if you've been watching the last few episodes, you understand that we've invited all the candidates to come in and answer some of these questions. And as I had said, unfortunately, the other candidates have not shown up, and they continue to not show up. But Henry Vassell is Vassell. I almost did it. Henry Vassell. I just love to do this. I was doing pretty good until that point. Henry Vassell is here. He's Unite Rocky Hill, and he's ready to answer any questions I shoot at him, right?
Absolutely.
This one's going to throw a curve at you.
Oh, boy.
You know, growing up in Rocky Hill used to be pretty simple. You could walk to school. Everything was really good. Everybody got to know everybody. And it seems these days our need for better schools is happening. More and more different kinds of classes are being taught. How are we doing in our educational system? And I think that the first thing I'd like to know with our current tax situation, have we had any teacher layoffs or anything like that? Or we're cutting back at all? Or just what's our current situation?
So when 4 years ago, when I was mayor, I funded a very strong education system. I believe in education, the importance of education, and you know our kids today are competing on a global level for jobs. There's no more competing just in Rocky Hill or in the state of Connecticut or even the United States. You're competing for jobs for people halfway around the world. I mean, make a telephone call for customer service and you'll see who comes on the phone. So it's more important than ever that they get a good education. I am disappointed that this present administration in the past 2 years has cut education by 1,500,000. Probably a little more than that.
Excuse me, why?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's disappointing to me. Why? I don't know. I voted against those budgets which made the cuts. I voted against it also because the police chief asked for another police officer position, another school resource officer, which they decided not to fund that position. So that was a disappointment to me. You know, our school resource officers are important in helping kids, and they've evolved into more than just a school resource officer. They bonded with the kids, and the kids talk to them for advice, and they talk to them about their problems. So it's really, really beneficial for the town. Our crime rates, up until recently, were down, but because of this police officer position, which was unfunded, we've had car thefts increasing, we've had car break-ins increasing, but that's a whole nother story. Let's stick to the education right now. You know, the kids today, like I said, they're competing on a global level, and it's very important. Our high school was just recently remodeled to as new condition, and that is great because we were able to add a lot of new classrooms and a lot of new programs to help them in their future. We only have one shot at a good education, so we really have to get it right the first time. You know, I spent a lot of time in the schools as mayor. It was probably the best part of my job. I used to eat lunch with the kids once a month. We talk about government. We talk about education. They threw me curveballs, unlike you. We talked about my hobbies. They asked me what kind of car I drive, things I never really expected out of them. But that really brought to light how important education is. You know, and I've even challenged the kids over the summers to read so many books. 3 years ago, I kissed a llama if they read 10,000 books over the summer. I dressed like a minion for the other elementary school. I mean, if me dressing like a minion or me kissing a llama stresses the importance of education and helps the kids excel, I say, you know, just bring out the llama.
I think there should be not afraid to kiss a llama. Unite Rocky Hill. Oh, that's terrific. Well, you know, what about the other needs? We hear a lot of towns right now talking about. I guess there is going to be a law that says we have to have like mandatory preschool or something in our schools. That there has to be something somewhere for the kids to go in the morning. I know some of the towns have had to take that on. What about our children? And is there a responsibility with the town of Rocky Hill to give them something before school and after school?
So we do have morning and afternoon programs,
okay.
And so the kids do come before and after school, and that's also stresses the importance of why we needed the other resource officer position. You know, the police chief was very clear and how it was needed, and it was very clear that it was needed immediately. Why the administration just thought, oh well, is beyond me. When I was mayor, we didn't have school resource officers. I'm the one that created the positions that actually put them in schools. And after Sandy Hook, you know, everybody saw a need that, yes, we do need people there protecting our kids. I think it's a huge problem.
So how are we doing now with our security in our school? As if you want to go back to Sandy Hook time, since then to now, has our security gotten better? I hope so.
So the security is at the same level it was
Yep.
as when I was mayor. It has not increased.
And that was just a few years ago, right?
Yeah, and that was just a few years ago, and we see that the resource officers are working long hours and working with a lot more kids. And as you know, our school enrollment is increasing. We have overcrowding at the schools. There's a lot more people. Definite need for another officer. Very disappointing.
Yeah, well, definitely a need for a third party. You know, maybe it is
Absolutely.
time. Maybe it is time to unite Rocky Hill. Do you feel that way? If you do feel that way, don't forget to get out there and vote in November, all right? It's time to unite. It's time to make a difference. Unite Rocky Hill. Henry Vassell. Great. Thank you so much for spending time. Steve Parker, see you next time.
My name is Henry Vassell. I'm running for mayor of Rocky Hill, and I approved this message.